Yeah,
And so it's gonna be
it's gotta be a tough division. Like you said, when we were picking our picks, right? There's gotta be one, two teams out of the East that's not gonna make it
yeah.
in the postseason, right?
And I can see why a lot of, especially in the national media of baseball, they're saying that the American East is the hardest division, and it's showing so far.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Sliders. Today is Saturday, March 30th. I'm Almar, and I have Armando right beside me. And let's talk baseball.
Welcome, everybody. Uh, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It will help us grow our community. Thank you so much.
All right, baseball opening week. Let's
It's
go.
opening day. Let's What is your biggest takeaways from the opening day weekend?
Opening day, a lot of excitement. Let's talk about this one player right here, Tyler O'Neill from the Red Sox. Fifth straight opening day home run. How about that?
I love it's exciting. I like those
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. A lot of excitement. The Blue Jays won, but we'll talk about more of that on my notes later. How about your Giants? How did they do?
They lost the first game opening day. It was nail biter. It was back and forth, and then the pen blew out the gave up the lead on the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah.
Which actually there was the reliever actually got injured. He was just throwing all over the place, couldn't find the strike zone, gave up the lead. But and then finds out that they when they pull him out, he actually had an injury, lower back injury. So now he actually hit
Mm.
the DL. Like
Oh no.
first game, he's in the injured reserve. So, but we'll talk about it more when I'm talking about the Giants updates.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what stands out to me in this first series of the opening day weekend, it's actually the American East. They stand out to me the most, especially Baltimore. Baltimore with all the expectations, all the hype, all the young talent, trading for Corbin Burns, and on the first day, they just deliver.
Yeah.
The Corbin Burns, they traded for him. He dominated. He's the ace of that rotation. He dominated all the expectation. They just live up to the hype. And
Six.
today they,
Yeah. 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, right?
yeah.
Against the
So
Angels.
yeah, uh, it was great. Also, but you can't really when you look at the rest of the division, like they all stand out. New York against Houston, and like on Thursday, I was score watching. They were losing 4-0, and then when I turned on the game at the bottom of the innings, I mean late innings, like the game was tied, and that's gonna be a fun team. It looks like
Yep.
no matter how if they're trailing, they have the ability to come back. That's my observation from the Yankees this year. No lead is safe. If they're trailing, no lead is safe with them. They were to come back, and Soto is already making a huge contribution in the first couple of games, having sack flies. He had a
Defensively too, hey?
yeah, defensively
Defensively
he
too.
had that he threw out the runner like to save the game. Like that's
Yep.
just it's an impressive too, but um but Toronto in the first game, winning the way they did, it's going to be offense for Toronto. But they'll be going back and forth, Toronto and Tampa Bay. So
Yep.
it's gonna, to me, American East stands out on this weekend of baseball.
Yeah, it's
The
gonna be
other,
it's going even the Red Sox won, right?
yeah, they're playing at the moment as we speak,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like they're so far with the Mariners. They're split the first two games,
Yeah,
and so it's gonna be
it's gotta be a tough division. Like you said, when we were picking our picks, right? There's gotta be one, two teams out of the East that's not gonna make it
yeah.
in the postseason, right?
And I can see why a lot of, especially in the national media of baseball, they're saying that the American East is the hardest division, and it's showing so far. Um,
Yeah. And you were talking about Baltimore, and I just heard from the telecast today with the Blue Jays that Orioles have a weak like not weak, but a soft start to their season.
Okay.
So if they take advantage of that, they'll probably win a lot of games in the first month, right?
Which that's it's important, right? You play
Yeah,
your schedule. You
yeah,
never know your opponents. Like you just play the schedule that's given to you, right? So and if
that's true.
it's a weaker schedule, you still got to beat on those teams, right? Rack up
Yeah,
those
that's
W's,
true.
right? So which it helps at the end of the season, right? So another thing that stands out on the first weekend, it's actually Arizona. 2-1 in the season. They got better. I can see that on the field now. They put up 14 runs in the first game on the bottom of the third, which is a franchise record. Which is, makes me wonder, 14 runs. That's two touchdowns. Like who?
Yeah, I know.
What is the major league record?
Is
So
there a mercy rule now against Colorado?
exactly. Oh, that's a sad thing. It's kind of like when everybody's talking about the Dodgers, Arizona, San Diego, and the Giants. Is like poor Colorado. They're gonna have. That's the team that they have to beat.
Yeah.
All right, you can't lose to Colorado. You- But yeah, like they look impressive, and they had a monster day back for opening day. And then another story, feel good story, is actually Edwin Diaz coming back to baseball, returning to baseball after missing last year with Tommy John.
Yeah.
It was just great. He had one inning pitch and one strikeout, but it was still great to see him back.
Yeah, great to see Edwin Diaz actually. I thought the Mets had the lead there when he came in, but they were behind. So but good to see him back.
Obviously, there's a lot of standouts for the open day or opening weekend, but those are the kind of things that stand out to me the most.
That Mets Brewers game, it was feisty. It was
Oh
feisty.
yeah, the like the bra.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was yeah, it's kind of like tensions are high already.
Yeah, it was a hard slide from Hoskins, right?
Yeah.
To the second, and then he got through. Someone threw behind him yesterday. Today actually, someone threw behind
Oh,
him,
okay,
and
yeah.
benches were cleared. So it was fine. Baseball is back.
Yeah, baseball is fun. So no, it's great. It's been a fun 3 days of baseball. Just kind of like yeah, I like talking about it, seeing the highlights, seeing the games, right? So let's go around the bases with the latest news of the Major League Baseball. So Omar, we had actually some late news on coming on Thursday that Jordan Montgomery is going to Seattle. I mean to Arizona.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
too.
he's signing 1 year deal with the D-backs. What's your option? What do you think about that?
That's another blunder from Boras, eh? So
Yeah,
I really can good for Montgomery to get signed, but it's really really late. So I'm not sure how it's going to affect him, but it's good for Arizona. You mentioned 14 runs in the third
well,
inning, right?
well, to me, I like it. He's a left-hander pitcher. There's not a lot of left-hander pitchers in the National League West. He's only the seventh now left-hander pitcher,
Yeah,
starting pitcher. But this just makes it more competitive. Like we were talking about the
yeah,
National League
Arizona.
West, arguably the might be the hardest division.
Yeah,
So seems like everybody added pitching late into spring training, right? So this is Arizona did it, Giants did it, and San Diego did it. So they're all
yeah.
going pitchers this late. So it's good for them. It's going to be more competitive. Obviously, with this move, with the latest moves from Arizona, Giants, and San Diego, they're saying like we need pitchers to compete in this division.
Yeah, and you mentioned that earlier on our episodes that to beat the Dodgers, you need pitching and defense, right?
Yeah.
That's the way to go because you won't be able to like score 14 runs against the Dodgers, like go toe to toe with that deep offense, right? So you
Which
need,
is showing so far in this couple games. Dodgers are just scoring runs, right? So
yeah,
you're gonna need defense in order to compete. But I like it. I honestly, yes, it's late spring training. We don't know what kind of condition he is, but he's an older player too.
yeah,
He's a veteran player, so he will. If it takes him a month, like in May, if he's coming back in May, that would be good. Like it's good for him to have some extra time off, especially with
Yeah.
a deep run that Texas had, and he had a dominant postseason run. So he he will benefit from the time rest.
Yep, it was just an odd off season for
Yeah.
everyone anyway. So, but good for Montgomery to get signed.
In another news, we have a couple of extensions, a couple of young players um, si- signing an extension. Will Smith signing a 10-year extension with the Dodgers, and Ezekiel Tovar a 7-year extension with the Rockies.
Yeah, for Will Smith, that's the second largest contract for catchers after what you call this uh Buster Posey
Posting, yeah,
signed. Yeah, Buster Posey next to Buster Posey, right? So
yeah,
um I haven't really looked at how he did last year, but it's a good signing for the young kid to get the catcher of the future for the Dodgers. They'll be competitive for a long time. So yeah, that's a good signing for the Dodgers and for Will Smith, right?
yeah. I think for both of them, like it's a trend now. Like the teams are willing to invest in long-term deals with their young players, especially their stars. Signing them to a long-term deal, so like their best career days are with the organization. So, and I have seen Will Smith play quite often in the last couple of years for the
Yeah.
Dodgers, right, being rivals with the Giants. So, he actually is a very good young talent, right? So
Yeah.
we actually have some couple of roster moves, couple late signing from players. Michael A. Tyler signs a 1-year deal with Pittsburgh, and J.D. Davis signing with the A's, which we talked about Davis before being cut so late by the Giants because of the
Yeah.
Matt Chapman sign. But it took, surprisingly, because that was a month ago when the Davis got released by the Giants, so it took a whole month to get signed, by any
Yeah.
team. So couple of notable signings. So, but still, it's good that they were able to find a job, right?
Yeah.
Especially with
I
good
thought
players.
when JD Davis was released by the Giants that he would get picked up right away, but it took a while, like you
Yeah,
said,
it took
right?
a lot, and
Yeah.
especially with Michael A. Taylor, like last year with Minnesota, he had 22 or 21 home runs last year. So that's surprisingly
Yeah.
for
This
right, like
this off season it's really weird. So
yeah, that is
yeah.
true. So all right, so that is around the bases. Let's go with the Giants update. Opening day roster. Giants go with 12 pitchers, including Blake Snell. Blake Snell is a lot closer than we everybody realized, but he made the roster. He actually had a game 4 innings pitch at Double A, striking out 11 batters in 4 innings. So that's great. So
Okay.
maybe where potentially he could join the rotation either opening series at home for the Giants. So we'll see. So that's in a couple like maybe like in a week
Okay.
timeline. So he could be seeing that pitch. So we'll see about that. But like so he made the roster. Uh, Giants also decided to go with 14 position players. Notable standouts and for those 14 players, actually Joey Bart making the roster.
Oh, nice.
Right. So like last year, he spent a lot of time in AAA. He was just not. He just needed to work a lot. But he actually this year, he in spring in during the spring training, he actually was batting over 400. I know it's spring training, but still, like he you can see that he has put the work in. And so like Giants feel, and the news is that the Giants have invested a lot on Joey Bart, and vice versa. He also has put in the work in, so he made the roster. So it's great. We'll see if he actually stays, or this is just a trade bait for him to
Okay.
get him playing time in the majors, not in AAA, right? So it's hard to to sell a player if he's not playing in the majors, right? So we'll see
That's
if
true.
that's what it is, or this is actually. But at the moment, the Giants are carrying three catchers.
Okay.
And so another standout on the roster, it's actually Fitzgerald. He actually beats Casey Smith for the extra infielder.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Huh.
Fitzgerald is actually a rookie, so as we talked about it, he's a utility. I think one of the main reasons is that Fitzgerald can play short, second, and center field. So he just kind of and he's actually had a good offseason. I mean, offensively in the spring. But he's a rookie and he bid Casey's bench who played half a season in the majors last year. So
Well, Fitzgerald gives your Giants flexibility on the field.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what. So we already seen utility players playing big on this. The way the Giants want to play this year. So another notables are outfielder Luis Maltos. He was sent down. It's kind of hard to say if he will stay. I think this just there's a couple players who are injured at the moment. A couple players are on leave due to like having a baby, so paternity leave. So we'll see if that was just kind of like a roster move, kind of like sending him for a day and then being called
Yeah.
up. We'll see like within a couple of weeks. We'll see what kind of this team looks like. But he actually, Luis Matos was sent on Thursday to AAA. But this morning, Saturday morning, on March 30th, he was actually called back up. And we talked about the shortstop position. Nick Ahmed has won the job. Top prospect, Marco Luciano, has been sent down. And this is just due all to defense.
Yeah.
Giants want to play defense. Nick Ahmed, he is a Gold Glove winner before. He's a veteran. He knows how to play the position. Marco Luciano still has some. This gives him more time to work on his shortstop if he stays as shortstop. But at the moment, he's been sent down. So which they were keeping a big secret, but he made it challenging because Marco Luciano, the last, let's just say like the last 12 days of spring training, he made a comeback. He put up, I think he had like 3 home runs in a week, and he was putting some good at bats. So he made it
Yeah.
very challenging, but ultimately it comes out to defense.
Yeah. And it's okay for Luciano anyway to get like proper at bats at the AAA level, and just not just riding the bench in the majors here, right?
And that's also true. Let's also not forget, like Luciano, he's a still younger player. He's only last year he only had 50 games in the minors. So he's still very young. He needs
Yeah.
experience. Ultimately he needs a bat and good at bats
Yeah.
in the minors, right? So we'll see. You never know.
Mhm.
Like with the injury, he might be called up.
Well, hopefully there's no injuries, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's baseball, right? So
Yeah,
like,
I know. Yeah.
right. So well, let's talk about actually injuries. I'll jump off the script for a second. The Giants are calling three rookies up to the majors as of this
Well,
morning.
no.
Just three rookies, pitchers, rookies. A couple of them made their debuts already. It's been kind of like you can tell the butterflies were there. They're kind of like okay, like the
Yeah.
moment is big, right? So, but yeah, this morning just because of we're talking about the on the opening day. One of the pitchers, Nick Johnson, he actually was injured, lower back injury. So he was placed on the injury reserve, and since then that made room available. So they're calling three pitchers, rookie pitchers, to the majors. Which one of them is Landon Rope, a right-hander pitcher reliever. Call Wing Tang, a right-hander pitcher. He last year he played in the AAA. He had a very good season last year, and he had an outstanding spring. He thought we everybody thought he was gonna make the roster, but 2 days later he's being called up. So
Okay.
that's really great. We talked about in the last episodes of the young pitchers prospects the Giants have, and it was disappointing to be sent down, but we knew that they were going to come. But it came a lot sooner than everybody expected.
That's an early call up, hey?
Yeah, which is good because there's been a lot of eye openings during the spring, so it's great. So this we knew that this Giants team was going to be a mixture of veterans and young players,
Yeah.
but still competing in the National League West. Well, Omar, it seems like it has come to an end to Paulo Sandoval with the Giants. He was a a roster invite. It was gonna be a long shot for him to make the team. He came in shape. He actually looked a better shape than he did when he was younger
Yeah.
for the Giants winning those World Series. But he made it tough. He put a lot of pressure on those young players to make the roster spot, but ultimately, there was just no spot. He was in shape. He put up good offensive bats. He had a good spring. He'll probably be picked up. I know there's been talks about him being sent to AAA, but
Yeah.
he was released, and we'll see if anybody picks him up. So that's still an option, but but that's a hard decision to make. Yeah, maybe the Giants will keep him on AAA, but then that he is taking away at bats from some of the other young players that need at bats, right? So,
Yeah.
but it was
Well, it was a
oh,
feel good moment with the last preseason game that the Giants played. He had a hit, right? Panda had a hit.
yeah, he had a
And
hit.
then he fielded, and then he had a standing ovation, which is good for Panda. I hope he gets another gig in the majors.
Yeah, like obviously the last couple of years he actually has bounced around like in adult leagues and the Mexican baseball league. You know, he's been kind of surfing around, but he had a standing ovation in the Bay Bridge series against the A's on Monday at the Coliseum. He had a standing ovations for both A's and Giants, and then on Tuesday with the season finale. I mean the spring season finale, he had another standing ovation. But this is kind of like the end of the era completely. Now, like
Yeah,
there's no more players from that
World
World
Series.
Series. Yeah. So, but it was great. He was sent off, and obviously Giants fans like we don't forget our players who meant a lot to us, right? So
Yeah,
he will always be a forever Giant. And we'll see what happens to him, but like he's definitely not done playing baseball. You can
good.
tell, like he wants to continue. We turned our attention to the season, and we have had 3 games so far for the Giants. And here's some of the, let's just say, player of this series so far, right? So, well, notable standouts in the first 3 games. Young Ho Lee, our Korean signing, he has stand out.
That that was a good
Everybody's
sign.
talking
That was a
about him,
good sign.
and he's getting national media attention. Actually getting good at bats.
Yeah,
So far, he has had a hit on each game. He has had sacrifice flies, and today he homer.
that's great. That's
So
great.
like
Great to see. Great to see.
yeah, it's great. But he's even when he's not getting on base, he's having good at bats. He's hitting the ball hard. He's making good contact. So it's very exciting to see.
Which
Everybody
spot
just kind of
which spot is he hitting?
what's that?
What spot? What spot is he
Oh,
hitting at?
he's a leadoff.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what the Giants were hoping and dreaming of. Like if he can do that in the majors, if he can lead off, get on base, hit a double or steal. Like so far, it's kind of like everybody's licking their chops. It's like okay, this is kind of like coming to fruition, right? So like
Yeah.
there's a lot of hypes already. Some people are already calling that he probably will be in a couple of years. He'll probably be in the race for MVP. So it's a lot to ask for in only 3 games. Like it's a
Yeah.
small sample, but it's exciting to see, and it's proven it's been a good signing so far.
That's good. Yeah. Good to see him. Good to see him play good.
Right. So and another good signing is Chapman.
Yeah, yeah, just move along.
Matt Chapman.
I didn't
He's
hear that.
already
I didn't hear that.
yeah. He is actually not just yes, Friday night game. He had 2 monster home runs, just monster. Let me just let's just talk about people when you go to the game. Even if you don't think you're gonna catch a foul ball, bring a glove, bring
Yeah.
your glove to the
Bring a
game.
glove. Yeah.
Like
Bring
that
a
fan at
glove.
center field, yes, it's a you're like dead center field. outfield. Yes, it's over 400. And I don't know if you saw the highlight, but the ball hit the the fan on the stands, hit him right in the shoulder.
No.
Like you can't. First of all, you can't take you off of the ball, even if you're. It's like why don't you have a glove?
Yeah.
Anyways, um, his first homer was the dead center. He took the biggest part of the field, over 400 feet home run. But then it's been a competitive series going back and forth. And then in the late innings, he hit a monster home run um, down the foul line. It was fair, but it was a clutch home run. They ultimately gave the Giants the lead.
Yeah.
Or give them extra cushion because it was just kind of like the Giants. I believe the Giants won 8-6 that game, but it was really good. And so,
Yeah.
but not that's just like I want to say those are two big home runs. But so far, Matt Chapman, he is the leader of this clubhouse. You can tell he's a voice in the clubhouse. He's speaking. He's the first one talking to the media after the game, before the game. He's already coaching up. He's kind of saying like we're in this together,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So like he's only been in the with the Giants for a month, but it's already showing evidence, and he's already talking about long term. I know players do this all the time, but he's talking about being a Giant for years to come.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Yeah.
yeah, so it's been great. So
He has 3 home runs now, right? Did he hit another one today?
no, he didn't.
Oh, not today. Not today. My bad.
Yeah, I didn't think so. The Nets player that's standing out so far in this young season, it's actually Jordan Hicks. Today he had a 5 innings pitch with 6 strikeouts. 4 of those strikeouts were swing and misses for a strikeout. So
That
he's
sinker. That sinker is like mid 90s and it sinks
yeah
really hard. Holy,
sinks,
that's unhittable.
sinks late, right? He has late
Yeah.
movement, which is great. But he's been impressive. He was kind of like a lot. He's actually a converted um,
Reliever.
reliever. He's a starting pitcher now. Like that's what the Giants signed him for. I know he has spent some time with Toronto.
Yep. Jordan Hicks wanted to be a starter anyway, so he was looking for that starter gig, right?
Right.
Good to
So
see him starting.
and the
Yes.
Giants wanted a starter, so like it was kind of like okay, like you want to be a starter, we're looking for a starter, like let's try it out, right? So I think in the spring we're kind of like okay, we'll see if it works. You might start a couple games, and you might maybe be in the bullpen. It all depends, but He's been impressive throughout the spring. He's probably was the best pitcher in the spring, and couple of kind of like people were kind of like saying like, oh, he kind of has kind of reminds me of Tim Lincecum, right? So and everybody's kind of like, oh, don't go
Yeah.
there, right? It's kind of like you can't compare a player to Tim Lincecum, right? So, but on Monday against the A's, the last spring training game, he had 7 innings pitched with 10 strikeouts,
Oh,
and they were
nice. Yeah.
all swing and misses strikeouts. That's impressive. That
Yeah.
is actually 10 Lincecum range right there. Uh, so like that kind of like everybody after that game against the A's looks like okay, we have something in Jordan Hicks. After like this, his last start in the spring, it was exciting, but he has lived up to the hype, and today he showed it. So
That's
it's
great.
great, yeah, right? So
You got
uh,
another freak.
yeah, we'll see, right? I think it's just the strikeouts ratio, right?
Yeah.
Because Tim Lincecum, he a lot of his pitches were strikes, and that's
Yeah.
where it is, right? So it's kind of like you're commanding the strike zone, you're throwing hard. So that's what we remind, and striking a lot of swing and misses. So that's why it's kind of like that's why not the delivery, not the height, and not the body size, but it's just the misses that's what people are comparing it to talent scam. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good for Hicks and that's good for Giants. Those swing and misses, you gotta need it against the Dodgers. So it's
yeah,
great.
exactly. So
Mhm.
and that is all for the Giants update for
Yeah,
this week.
great. Yeah, great news for the Giants. Well, you're 2-1, right? So we'll go to the Blue Jays update. Closer Jordan Romano is still in the IL. So is setup man Eric Swanson, which puts the Jays on the bind right now on the late innings. We haven't seen it yet because like you said, Jays won 8-2 in the first game, and they lost the second and the third game. We haven't seen a late inning close game against the Rays. So we'll see. Luckily for the Jays, Kevin Gossman is slated to pitch tomorrow. So we'll see if the Jays will split the series there. We're hoping to
Wow,
come up.
really?
Yeah. Yep.
I
He's
didn't realize
slated.
how. I thought he was gonna take him a couple more weeks. Okay.
No, yeah, I thought so too. The idea was like a week or so after the spring training, but he pitched good his last preseason game. So the thought was either he starts tomorrow against the Rays or opens up against Houston on Monday. But as of today, it's Kevin Gossman that's going to face the Rays tomorrow, and then Bowden Francis to open the series in Houston. So yep,
Well,
and
that's
then
good news
mhm.
for Toronto, right? They're getting their ace back, right?
Yeah, and hopefully it continues, and hopefully he stays healthy because the Jays are going to need them because like you said, the pitching is not as deep as last year. So they actually set down Yariel Rodriguez. Sorry to bubble his name. They set him down because the Jays are trying to stretch him out to be a starter. So give him couple innings down there in Triple A and see if he can come up as the fifth starter.
Wait. I
So
do have a question for you.
yeah.
Since Gossman is scheduled to pitch more, does this change your Cy Young prediction for the American League?
We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes seven Ks tomorrow. Then I'll change it up. Yeah, we'll see. But he has this swing and miss stuff, right? So it's good for the Jays that he's going to be starting as soon as tomorrow. Then yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be close on the Cy Young there in the AL. So but right now I'm sticking with my pick yet. But I'm for that thing. I want to say sorry to the New York Yankees. Like I really underestimated their capabilities. I've seen it for the 3 games now. They're really good. Like I said, they had no lead is safe for them. For against them. Today there was a scrap against Genesis Cabrera and the Rays. It was someone bunt up for a base hit, and then he came around to third, got a scuffle. It was great. Nothing much, but I think he's going to be suspended because he actually shove his hands on the face. So but that's not good for him because, like I said, they're already down 2 pitchers, right? They don't
Yeah.
have their closer and the setup man. And if Genesis Cabrera gets suspended for a game, and then they're going to be down 3 guys in the bullpen. So that's not smart on him.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's a division rival, right? So, but it's
Yeah,
early for the scuffles, but it's kind of
yeah. And then
there's a lot of tension.
yeah, and then there were worries about Bobby Bichette because the second game he had 2 errors. But people like me, when we saw the second throw, he bounced it, but Vladimir Guerrero should have caught the skip. So it wasn't really on Bobichette, but he had 2 errors on the second game, and people are crying their hearts out, like move him to second base. It's just the third game, and the guy can hit,
Overreaction.
and the guy can.
Overreaction.
Yeah, I know, and the guy can hit. The guy can hit. It's like 2 errors, but yeah, the second error he bounced it, but Vlad just didn't wasn't able to pick it. Yeah, those are the overreactions from people from the first 3 games, the Bobichet errors, and the third base because IKF started the first 2 games. He was okay, but you can see the difference between Matt Chapman and the other kids, right?
Right.
The
That's going
defense is
to.
night and day.
You do have to take it with a grain of salt the first couple of weeks of April. in a sense, it's still spring training,
Yeah,
right? Because a lot of players are not playing the full games in the spring training, right? So, and you
yeah,
have like a double hitters, like your split series, right? Like you're playing against double A competition or triple A. So it's gonna happen,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, and
with errors or mistakes, right? So end of April, beginning of May, that's when you start seeing like that. Hey, what is in the groove, right?
that's true. Yeah. And yeah, Ernie Clement, who was the scheduled to be the bench for the third base. He actually started today. He actually saved a lot of runs today with his glove. He had two run saving stabs today. So he's probably going to start again tomorrow. I'm hoping because he can hit. The kid can hit. So and his defense is really good today. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so far,
That's good
Jay,
because for a young player, you need that confidence, right?
yeah,
You need when you start for a young player, if he starts um, having good at bats, it will show his confidence in the field by
yeah.
his by in his glove, right?
Yeah. So far, yeah. Two defensive gems today, which is great to see. And he actually he was 2 for 4 today, so that's great. Great to see. Yeah. Hopefully we have our third baseman going forward and not rotating third baseman. Because Justin Turner played late third base today, and he threw the ball away. So I think the DH right now. Yeah. And we'll see if Joey Votto can make the team. He's still rehabbing his ankle, right? So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but Vogelback started at DH today. So, yeah,
Oh, that's great.
there's a lot of new faces here in the Jays. Like you said, it's top heavy. We'll see who's the difference maker in the 6 to 9 spots. But so far, Kevin Biggio, he's been hitting in the ninth hole. He's been doing good, playing second base. So, yeah, it's good
You
to see.
need you need the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you don't need them to be all stars, right? But
Mm,
like
mhm.
it's part of a team still. You're playing the team sport. But if the bottom lineup can do the dirty work, they can get on base, stretch the pitcher out, and then if you get on base and the top lineup gets some get is at bat, that's great. That's great
Yeah.
news, right? So
Yeah.
now the top of the lineup can do the damage.
Yeah. If you
And
can
all
turn over the lineup, right?
exactly right. So
Mhm.
that's what you need, right? You need
Yeah.
the seventh, eighth, ninth batters to get on base for the top of the lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun 2 games. Three, not 2 games. It was fun 3 games. Although we're behind the curveball right now with 1 and 2, but it's gonna be a long season. But like I said when I texted you, every game matters, right? Because
It sure
those
is,
early
right?
losses, those early losses will come to bite you at the end there when you're playing the 161 game.
We're not casual fans here, right? Like all 162 games matter.
Yeah, but yeah, good to see that Kevin Gossman will start tomorrow. We're hoping to split the series. Like I predicted a split series because Jays are horrendous in Tropicana Field. They've been
Right.
horrendous. The last season series that they won against Tampa was, I believe, back in 2017. So that's a
Wow.
long time. That's a long time. They've been horrible
Yeah.
facing Tampa. So yeah.
Well, Tampa has had those dominant years, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, splitting the series in Tropicana, I'll be happy with it. So yeah, and then like I said, they're facing the gauntlet to start the season, playing 9 games in 10 days against Tampa, Houston, and then New York. All
wow,
away games. All
that
away
is
games.
tough games.
Yeah. So
But
we'll see.
it's good to see. But at least you can able to test yourself,
Yeah.
right? To match, to test yourself in the beginning of the seasons. How do you match up, right? Same thing with the Giants. The first three series are Padres, Dodgers, and back. Padres in San Francisco. So right, division
Yeah.
rivals.
I'm hoping Houston can win tomorrow because they'll be pissed facing the Jays
Oh, I
on
was thinking
Monday.
the same thing. I actually you stole my what I was thinking. Houston are gonna be pissed when
Yeah,
Toronto falls comes
yeah.
into town,
They're
right?
gonna be
So
pissed.
they're gonna be pissed, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like yeah,
Hopefully
maybe
they won't. Hopefully they win tomorrow.
it might be when you text me like oh it's gonna be tough opening season for the Jays, and when I saw Houston, I was like oh yeah, that Houston is
Yeah.
gonna be pissed after losing 3 games to the Yankees. So
Yeah. But the Yankees are good when facing Houston. Hey, so I
yeah,
think
so,
they've won 4 or 5 straight in a row in Houston. So they've been tough on Houston. So
yeah. Sometimes that's what you need. You need to play pissed off, right?
yeah. Mhm.
You need to be playing with an edge, right? So
Yeah.
and that's why ever since the Yankees went, according to their fan base and media, that they were robbed from a couple of championships, or at least going to the championship games, right, to the World Series because of the allegations by Houston, right? So yes, the Yankees play with the chip on their shoulders every time they play Houston.
It's gonna be a good season anyway. There's gonna be some heartaches, some
Yeah,
scratching on the head, but good to see baseball back.
baseball is back. Now we can definitely now our talks matter now.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes it more exciting to talk about it, talk
Yeah.
about baseball. Like it's fun. Spring training is just a lot of fun because spring training is like, oh, baseball is new, right? But you talk about all the prospects, you talk about all the hype, new players and new places. But now, as soon as opening day comes in, like, okay, baseball's here now.
Yeah, it's the real deal now.
It's the real deal now. Like,
And that's pretty much about the Blue Jays update for this week.
perfect. Thank you for watching another episode of Saturday Sliders. See you next week.
See you.